Programming on 90.7 WKGC and the Commodore Sports Network is sponsored by Sweet Bay. Sweet Bay is a bayfront village in Panama City that features parks, walking trails to the water, a future town center, and more. A community connected at the water's edge, Sweet Bay. More information about Sweet Bay online at sweetbayfl.com or 844-35-SWEET.
Welcome, Commodore fans, to Coach's Corner, a production of Gulf Coast State College and the digital media program here. I want to thank the folks at Sweet Bay for underwriting Coach's Corner. And today, Coach Petree and I will talk about how the Lady Commodores did last week. Big games this week, big games last week, 8 big more games coming up. So, Lady Commodores right now 6-4 overall, 4-4 in the panel conference, ranked 4th in the state coaches poll, ranked 10th in the NJCA national poll. So, if you're keeping up with the Lady Commodores, you kind of know how we did last week. We played 2 games. We split again. We seemed to win or lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win. You can't win 2.
I would like to. I would like to do that very much.
So I'm just picking on Coach a little bit. We played 2 games last week at home. It was good to be home after being on the road for 4 games. And so Lady Commodores played Northwest Florida State College, #1 ranked team in the country, and lost 80-65 on the 23rd. First quarter, they scored 29, we scored 20. Second quarter, we scored 22, they scored 19. Third quarter, they scored 20, we scored 9. And then in the fourth quarter, we scored 14, they scored 12. So for an 80-65 loss. So thoughts, Coach?
We have to string together a full 40 minutes. At the beginning of conference play, I thought our problem was our start, and we seem to have started a little bit better lately, but we're still coming out the second half and kind of getting popped in the mouth a little bit early, and then you spend so much energy to fight back, and then you kind of run out of gas. But we do forget that is the #1 team in the country, and they're extremely loaded at every position, and so we're doing the best we can, trying to get better each week.
Yeah, and they brought back a player this time we didn't see the first time, Poa. She must have been injured or something, but she put up 14 now.
No, she's a very good guard. She can shoot it. She can put it on the floor. She's an Australian kid, and everybody coming into the season had big expectations for her, so that's a big addition for their team.
So they add that piece back, and playing well in the conference right now. If we look at their scoring, Matundo with 14, Pinto with 28. She was basically unstoppable in the paint.
Right, we just don't have anybody that can match up with her because she's so big, so strong, but then she's also so explosive off of the face-up, and then she's just extremely difficult to keep off the glass. I think she will do big things at the next level and maybe even the next level after that.
So she is that good, and we talked about Poa with 14. Jesus with 14 also for them. Lady Commodores, the only, if I got this right, we only had 1 in double figures. Now, Daniel put up 31 that night though. But outside of that, everybody else in single digits.
Right, part of that drought in the second half, we talked about, I believe that Nia was the only one that scored in the third quarter except for 1 free throw by Ava Miller, and so we've got to get more balance. We've got to get people putting up numbers against all the teams.
So, and in that third quarter, we seem to have a little lull in that third quarter, and it's pretty consistent. But we are playing much better those first 2 quarters of the game because when we played them the first time, it was
bad. You can say it. It was bad.
It was bad. Try not to use that word, but Northwest showing why they're the #1 ranked team in the country. Now, interesting enough, we only turned it over 17 times. They turn it over 26 times.
I think traditionally Northwest Florida is a very meticulous. They have a lot of sets, a lot of execution, and so we tried to speed the tempo of the game up, and it was effective for us, and it allowed us to get a few extra possessions just because they would rather slow the game down.
So, because it kind of looked a little bit like the men's team on the defensive side of the ball a little bit.
Oh, Coach Gaffney will get mad if you compare that.
I didn't call it coastal chaos. I said it just looked a little bit like that.
Oh, we were trying.
So in that case, if we look at scoring or percentages from the floor, from the free throw line, 68.4%, 13 of 19. From behind the arc, 6 of 19 for 31.6% from behind the three-point line, and field goal percentage, 23 of 53 for 43.4% scoring.
I know those were our numbers, but one big difference in the first game and the second game, over at their place, they made 10 threes, and this game they only made two. And so we tried to do a better job of being there on the catch and running them off the line and not giving them those high percentage shots.
Yeah, I was going to come down to that.
Sorry.
That's the reason I saved it there, because you had done that. They were 18 of 28 from the free throw line for 64.3, 2 of 8 for 25%. And that is a tremendous improvement, because the first game, they were just, I don't even think the first half they missed a three. And so they were lighting it up in a 20.
They might have made 10 the first half.
So in that case, it was 60 points from behind the arc. 2 of 8 is a tremendous improvement to make them move and do and not be comfortable. But, they weren't in their gym. They were in our gym that night too. So, and then 30 of 51 for 58.8% from the floor. So that scoring from Northwest Florida. So if we move on, and then we played Pensacola State College here, and Pensacola State final was 81-73. Lady Commodores pick up a win. Pensacola first quarter 20-17. Second quarter we scored 31 points to their 15. The third quarter they scored 22 to our 14, and then in the fourth quarter we scored 19 to their 16.
See, again, there's that third quarter. I mean, second quarter, that's
an outstanding.
Yeah, 31. That's hard to keep up with. But then you come out and you're flat. If we wouldn't have had such a good lead, that could have been the difference in the game. So I mean, we've got to string together a full 40 minutes. And I don't know if that's focus. I don't know if it's conditioning. I don't know if it's depth. But we're trying to figure it out.
So and probably working on all of them at the same time.
Yes, sir.
So. If we look at scoring for the Lady Doors, Daniels with 18 and Matthews with 22 that night, and Sis with 12. So good nights for them.
Yes, sir. Sarah has the ability. She's so athletic. She has a great pull-up jumper. She can get out and run the floor. So she definitely has the ability to score like that every night. We just got to keep continuing to work on her consistency.
And actually, Daniel had a double-double. She had 10 rebounds to add to that 18 points she scored.
Yes, sir.
So
she does a lot.
Does a lot. Been pretty consistently, and in the panel conference, they've done everything in the world to take her out.
Right.
Defensively or offensive-wise, you watch.
They're trapping her ball screens and face guarding her, all kinds of stuff.
So in other words, she goes nowhere somebody's not right in her grill.
Yes, sir.
Now, if we look at from their side, Chamberlain with 20, Portia with 11, and Brown with 11.
Considering our small lineup, Portia I think she's one of the best post players in the country. She, coming into the game, she was averaging right at 19 and 11, so I held her a little bit under her average with the smaller lineup, so I was proud of our team for that.
So they turned it over 17 times. We turned it over 20, right there together. If we look at shooting quickly, we were 24 of 28 from the free throw line, much better, 85.7%. May have been your best night from the free throw line this year.
Well, like Herman said, I mean, that's coaching, right? He said I hadn't been coaching it all year, and then so I must have did something.
That's all the
girls. I'm just kidding.
And then 5 of 10 from behind the three-point line for 50%, and 26 of 55 for 47.3% from the floor. Couldn't ask for much better shooting, percentage-wise. So we look at them, 23 of 29, 79.3 from the free throw line, 4 of 14 for 28.6% from behind the three-point line, and 23 of 62 for 37.1% from the floor. So we'll quickly move on. In this conference, you play the games, and then your reward for it is we will get ready to play. If we get down through the stack, we'll cut some of this stuff out.
Chipola, number one ranked team in the country, I would think.
9-1 overall, 6-1 in the panel conference, tied for first in the state coaches poll. Right now, the NJCAA poll that's out, they're fourth, but you're right. It's going to be interesting to see when they put it out this week where everybody goes.
But you know, they won at the number one ranked team, Northwest Florida, on the road, and so I would think that they would make that jump. But all year long, I've said that they're very dangerous. They have, you know, Demila Brown, unbelievable guard, can score all three levels, but really effective from the three-point line. And then, you know, they have really good support pieces around her that would be stars on any team.
So in that case, you're right, the first, second, and third place teams in the country all lost this weekend, right?
Yes, sir.
So in other words, Chipola's probably going to move there. So it'll be interesting.
They'll at least be, I would think, two.
So which one do you think is going to stay in front of them?
Jones County is 8-0, and they just beat number 2 South Georgia Tech. I don't think they've lost. They may not be 8-0, but somewhere close.
Yeah,
they were 5th.
So they were 5th. They were 7-0, so that would have made them 8-0.
Right.
So they'll move. So you think they're going to?
I don't know.
South Plains too?
Oh, South Plains has lost twice now.
Yep.
So I don't know.
So in other words, that's an interesting question. So it'll be interesting when the poll comes out. And then we will have Tallahassee here this coming Saturday.
They got to win.
They got to win. I was going to bring that up. They went to Pensacola. Did
right.
They win at Pensacola?
Yes, sir.
They won at Pensacola, so they picked up a panel conference win.
Yeah.
And that's what we talked about. We talk about all the time. There's not a team in this conference that can't, on any given night, can step up and beat you.
Yes, sir.
And so, Tallahassee proved that. Luckily, fortunately for us, it was against Pensacola and not us. But at any given night, anybody can beat anybody in this conference.
Absolutely, we'll have to be on our job on Saturday. So can't overlook anyone. One game at a time.
So we're letting now. If you have a faculty or student ID, you can get in the game. I think the players are getting 2 tickets apiece.
Yes, sir.
So if you have players that doesn't have anybody, they might be able to reach out to coach, and she might be able to get you a ticket and get you in the game.
Yes, sir. We love to have some bodies in the stands and need you to be loud. Help us out a little bit.
So in that case, that's the way to get in. But that is good to see that we are starting to allow some spectators back in there.
Yes, sir.
So that's kind of where we're at. Quickly, let's just run down the panel conference standing. Northwest Florida State College 6-1, Chipola 6-1, Gulf Coast State College 4-4, Pensacola State College 1-5, and Tallahassee Community College 1-7. So that's how the panel conference stands. So in just a few seconds, we'll come back, and I'll be with Coach Phil Gaffney, and we'll talk about how the Commodores did on the Commodore Sports Network.
Programming on 90.7 WKGC and the Commodore Sports Network is sponsored by Sweet Bay. Sweet Bay is a bayfront village in Panama City that features parks, walking trails to the water, a future town center, and more. A community connected at the water's edge, Sweet Bay. More information about Sweet Bay online at sweetbayfl.com or 844-35-SWEET.
Today, Coach Phil Gaffney and I will talk about 2 games last week in the panel conference at home, and we'll talk about 2 games this week in the panel conference at home. Commodores right now 5-6 overall, 2-6 in the panel conference, and ranked 9th in the state coaches poll. So if you're following the Commodores, you know that we dropped those 2 last week, and we'll dive right in, and we'll start with the Northwest Florida State game. First half, 39-42. Second half, they scored 41. We scored 38 right there, but couldn't get the job done on that game that night.
We couldn't, and their coach had left, so they had a brand new coach. It was his first game. The team Northwest Florida definitely had a better energy than they've had all year. You could tell with the new coach, and they were trying to get a win for him in the first game, and they did. But really, all these games have come down to it's really about us, what we have not done. And the problem is we are just not playing good basketball, and it's the coaching staff has got to get these guys playing better. Certainly, we've had a lot of injuries. Jamie Pierre-Louis has been playing hurt, banged up right hand, which I think he's come out of that shooting slump and hand's feeling better after our Pensacola game. But Devontae Cook had been banged up, and they just neither one has played up to what they can. Cook didn't play in the Pensacola game. But you just get the feel that we're not getting the job done. We're not doing a good enough job offensively, just not doing a good enough job defensively. And we got to get our kids to step up. We're good enough to win these basketball games. The Northwest Florida game in particular, there's just no way we should lose that game. That's not taking anything away from them. But when you're playing home, you have to win, and you're playing the bottom team in the conference. There's just no way you lose that game, regardless of whether they have a new coach or not. Just way too many turnovers, way too many defensive mistakes. Our defense has been absolutely atrocious. We love to get out and press, and this year's team just has not been a good pressing team. Teams have been very prepared for us, and again, not an excuse, but everybody but Chipola has the bye week before us. So when they made the new schedule, and again, it's a COVID schedule, that just happens sometimes, or once in a lifetime, everybody gets the bye before us, and we're kind of a unique defense. And when you have a whole week to sit around and get ready for it and rest your players, or even if it's only 5 days, we're getting 1 day. So we're not being able to prepare for you. You're getting prepared for us, and we simply have not got the job done. So I'm hoping that as we go, we're going to do a little bit better job of getting these guys ready, getting these guys prepared, and getting these guys ready to fight and scrap and win some of these games. Because, that game with like 10 seconds to go was a 3-point game. In reality, if we stop our mistakes, we're up 25.
So if we look at that, look at scoring for the Commodores. Cook with 13, Pierre-Louis with 20, and Marzette with 12. And all the other scoring was all single-digit scoring.
And Pierre-Louis, you say he had 20, but he was 7 of 23. He had a horrible shooting game. He just shot a lot. and that doesn't necessarily mean you were efficient or you had a good game, and he really didn't. And our team has it. Marzette has shot the ball exceptionally well up until the Pensacola game. He's been dynamic, and probably got to get him more shots.
Yeah, because he was 50% behind the three-point line and 4 of 8. So, and all his points were from behind the arc.
And he's got to expand his game. He's got to be a better defender. He's got to be a better two-point shooter. He's got to get to the free throw line and make some free throws. He can't be just one-dimensional. But he's been tremendous this year shooting the basketball. He's been outstanding from the three. So
in that case, you can do that. If we look down the Raiders scoring column, Thomas with 16, Caston with 16, Smith with 13, and Waller with 23. So 4 of their 5 in double.
Well, that shows you Waller is a 5-point-a-game guy, and he's a backup big man, and he comes in and he has a career night. I mean, we got him a scholarship. He's going to be sending that tape out to everybody in America. That's just horrific post defense, and just you can't do that. You can't give a guy who scores 5 a game 23. That was really the difference in the game, was just very bad post defense and not a very good job rebounding, and allowing a backup to have 23 points is just not acceptable.
So in that case. But that's where that game turned out. Shooting from the floor for the Commodores, 10 or 15 from free throw line, 66.7. 11 of 36 from behind the arc for 30.6, and 28 of 74 from the floor for 37.8%. Just
terrible in each and every instance. Just not good enough at the free throw line, not good enough at 3, not good enough for 2. We're shooting bad, and we're letting other teams shoot good. And it can't get any simpler than that.
Rebound wise, 32 to 33, right there together. So, but that's how that one turned out. The Commodores we defeated them the first game. I failed to mention that, 68-65. Wait a minute, I'm looking at a Chipola number here. So
we did beat them at Northwest Florida in a close game, of which we were up 17 with 5 minutes to go, and actually made it a close game at the end. I think we won by 7 down there.
So in that case, and so that's where we're at there. Let's talk about Pensacola State College. You know, Pensacola, their record was they hardly won, and they were in a slump, and you know, and all kind of things. And then all of a sudden, they just got on fire.
Yeah, they got a good coach, and if you just give enough time, they were going to figure it out. They started off the season very badly, and they've caught fire. They beat Tallahassee when they're number 2 in the country. They've been just playing outstanding. Pete's done a great job over there at Pensacola. We didn't have Cook for the game, but you know that's just an excuse. You'd like to have your starting point guard. So what we had to do is point guard by committee, have a bunch of different people do it. But again, just too many turnovers, not enough good shooting, allowing them to shoot the ball exceptionally well, and you lose by double digits at home. And I think we lost by, 12 or 14, and then you missed 12 free throws. I mean, how in the world can you possibly do that and win? You can't. What were we, 12 for 24, 12 for 25 from the line, some god-awful.
12 of 23.
Okay, that's just embarrassing. So. And you know, you'd expect a JV high school team to shoot better than that. And if you're going to go 12 of 23, you're just not going to win basketball games. And we're playing at home. When you're playing at home, you have to shoot the basketball.
And so in that case, we look at that. If we look at scoring, Pierre-Louis with 23. Wilson, good to have him back. He's still probably not game shape, but he had 10 points for you. And everybody else in single digits.
Yeah, they do a good job of slowing the game down, so it's not going to be a lot of up and down, not going to be a lot of scoring. You know, they want you to play at their pace, and they do a great job of controlling that. They're a very well-coached team. The good part was Pierre-Louis finally broke out. You know, he's had the bad hand, he's been getting the ultrasound, he's been getting the treatment, and he actually shot very well that game. And then Roman Wilson, as he gets in better shape, is going to keep giving us better games. So, you know, he's getting better. As he's been recovering, and I think he will be very good for us in the next few weeks.
So, and Pierre-Louis, perfect from the free throw line, 4 of 4, from behind the three-point arc, 3 of 6, and 8 of 15 from the floor. So that's percentage-wise a great night of shooting.
Great night, and we're just really happy to see that. We got to build on that.
So we'll have to keep looking and working there. Turnover-wise, they turned it over 20 times. We turned it over 17 times.
Yeah, still way too many for us. They're not pressuring the ball. We're pressuring the ball. They're supposed to turn it over 20, 25 times. We're supposed to turn it over about 10 times. So we turned it over seven too many.
And some of those were really unforced turnovers. They were just mental turnovers.
Silly, unforced, absolutely right.
So in that case, but now the reward for that is Wednesday we will have Chipola come to town. And Chipola's another one that's on fire. They're playing well. We did beat them the first game, 68-65 in the Billy Harrison Fieldhouse. Lost to them at their place, 87-58. So they'll be back in the Billy Harrison Fieldhouse Wednesday at 7:30.
Yeah, Donnie Tyndall, he outcoached us like crazy down there at Chipola. He had us running every which way but loose. He's really got them playing well now. He's changed the starting lineup. He's got his formula down of what they do, and their press and their zone defense is tremendous, and they're really playing their offense at a high level now. And they're playing the 7'3" kid from Florida State. Had there a lot more, and he's very difficult defensively. They just got a good recipe, and they're playing the game at a high level right now. So we're going to be hard pressed. We're going to really be challenged to go in and make sure that we can take care of the ball and get really good shots because their defense is suffocating.
Yep. So they play well, gaining confidence right now. If we look at that panel conference standing, as you talked about, Tallahassee 6-2, and Chipola 6-2 in the panel conference. Pensacola State College 4-4, Gulf Coast 2-6, and Northwest Florida State College is 2-6. But so we get to play Chipola on Wednesday, and then Saturday we have Tallahassee come in and play them at 4 o'clock on Saturday.
The fact of the matter is we got to catch Pensacola. Okay, they're the third place team, and this year it's a unique year. The way they've changed the formula with less teams right now. There's 20 teams last year, 17 and only three conferences instead of 4. Is most likely the top 3 teams in the Panhandle are going to the state, and that's never been the case. Last year it was just us and Tallahassee, the top 2. Well, there's a good chance it's going to be 3 this year. A committee will decide that which third place from what conference goes. But we got the best conference in America, so there's no doubt in my mind that the third place team will go. So in reality, we got to be out Pensacola and Northwest Florida for that spot. Right. And we have half the season to do it. So it's time now to let's go and do that. And I guarantee you, if we get into that third spot, no one's going to want to play us in the state tournament. We're going to be prepared and ready to go. We got to get there, and it's on us. It's really not about what anybody else does. It's not about what Chipola does, Tallahassee. It's about what Gulf Coast does, and Gulf Coast better step it up right now, or they're going to be sitting home and not going to the state tournament and experiencing that magic and that energy and all those wonderful things that we did last year.
And so, because with three conferences in the state, and you have 8 teams go, 2 of the 3 are going to get
automatic.
Are going to get 3 teams in, and it'd be real hard for it not to be the Panhandle Conference.
No, it's going to be the Panhandle, and I'm going to tell you, if we get there, we're going to be ready to go. But we got to really step up our play and get better, and we're trying like heck to do it. And I just got to do a better job of getting these guys to play hard and play together, play smart, and do the things we need to win.
Well, in this case now, Dante Cook didn't play last game. Will he play Wednesday, or are we still waiting or don't know?
We sure don't know, but I think the not playing and giving him rest can only benefit him physically. Oh. So he's had a bunch of days off now, so I think he's got 2 or 3 ailments. They have to get better with time, oh. When you're not playing. So we're just hoping that he gets better, and we hope he does. But if he doesn't, there's no excuse. Step up. Here's your chance to step up in his place, and let's go.
And play, and like you said, we're halfway through this 16 game series, so we got 8 more games, plenty of time to get in there. Actually, the fate right now is still in the Commodore's hands. We're not dependent on somebody to win and somebody to lose. You're right, if we can just get in there, because when you get in that state tournament, all bets are off then.
We have Pensacola twice. That's up to us, and that ties us with 2 wins. Then the rest of the way, it's who beats who. But you're right. If we get I guarantee you last year when Florida Southwestern saw they had to play us first, a team that won 22 straight games, number 1 team in the country, it didn't matter. This league prepared us. We were ready to go. Normally our teams get better as the season goes on. We were ready to play them, and then we blew out the other 2 nationally ranked teams badly. So if we get there, we're going to make noise, because we're going to have a week and a half to prepare. And I can guarantee you, we will go out and prepare, and give us that much time, we're going to do a pretty good job.
So you just got to get in there. So hopefully Cook will be back. Trayshawn Wilson, will he play this year? Still don't know.
It's very disappointing. He had 2 knee surgeries. He looks great, but the doctor's got to give him the go-ahead.
So, all right, that's Coach Phil Gaffney. I'm Jamie Spaxley. Thanks for watching, Commodore fans, and we'll see you next time on the Commodore Sports Network.